What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here. Football is back. The Premier League is back, and it is the first game of the season for Tottenham Hotspur on Sunday, 4:30 kickoff at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium against Everton. Now, Everton, a team that haven't beaten us in a while, let's be honest.
Long time, actually, come to think of it. 2012.
Oh, I've already put bad omens on Spurs pretty much.
Andre Villas-Boas was our manager when the last time we lost to Everton. Adebayor was playing up front. Clint Dempsey scored a goal for Spurs last time we played Everton.
Scored against us.
And Pienaar, exactly. Pienaar had left Everton, joined Tottenham, and then left and then joined Everton again. And he scored against us last time we had played. So it's been a long, long time since we lost to Everton. So since we lost to Everton in the league. So are we due a loss? I hope not. I hope not. But I think interestingly enough, Lloris was still a player then for us. So not too long ago.
We actually played them quite recently, back end of last season. It feels like a long time ago, but it actually wasn't, because the season only finished a month or two, month and a half ago,
was it May?
No, I think it was after that.
June even.
Yeah, it could have been June or July, but we finished 1-0 Spurs in a pretty dire game. But what do you make out of Everton and their signings?
I think they've done some good business. I think they addressed one big issue in the squad, which was their centre midfield. They haven't addressed another big issue, which is their centre-back options, which is a big issue for them at the moment. I think their defence is still very poor. And Pickford as well. They haven't signed a keeper. They're going to go with Pickford again.
Who made Tyrannosaurus Rex with short arms.
Yeah, exactly. The 5'11" Mackham. They haven't really addressed that problem as well. So they have some serious issues in the squad to address. But I think I've been very impressed with their signings. Doucouré and Allen should really give them some legs in midfield, which they haven't had previously, and some control. And then obviously the marquee son of James Rodriguez.
What do you make out of that? Do you think he's a good player?
I mean, look, he's obviously
still
a good
living
player.
Off that 2014 World Cup?
A bit. I think a bit he is. He hasn't really had that in much joy ever since joining Madrid. I think under Ancelotti, he's actually had his best seasons since then.
It's like the third or fourth time he signed him.
I think it's the third time. He signed for Bayern and Madrid, and now he signed for Everton. I think he tried signing for Napoli as well, but that didn't happen. But yeah, I think, look, this guy obviously has a lot of quality. He's obviously a good player. There's no doubt about it. Whether Ancelotti can get him playing is another issue. I think if they base their team around him and he can be their main man, I think maybe they could have a really good signing on their hands. I think he has star quality, and he's obviously definitely one to watch out for if he makes his debut.
Spurs?
Would I have taken him at Spurs? Probably. I would have, yeah. I don't think he's a guaranteed starter for us, but I think he's definitely competing for the first team with Dele and Lo Celso for sure.
Yeah.
He's definitely not out beyond the realms of possibility that he starts for us.
Looking at his stats last night, I don't think he'd ever scored more than 8 or 9 in a season. Does that tell you a bit about what his kind of qualities are like, or his qualities lie elsewhere than just scoring goals? Because you remember back to the 2014 World Cup, he was scoring goals for fun.
He got Golden Boot. Yeah, and he got some real spectacular goals as well. I think a big part of his quality is in goals, but he gets a lot of assists as well. He's a playmaker. He's not just all his goals. He's got a quality left foot, and he's got good vision as well. So I think he's a player who can flirt in and out of games, but once he gets on the ball in the final third, it sparks danger for sure, and he could really hurt us.
I think a lot of the reason why he hasn't been that good is because a lot of teams just play him out of position, out on the wing, out on the right, out on the left. But I think if Ancelotti, because Ancelotti knows him very well, let's be honest, if Ancelotti plays him in his favourite position, I think he can thrive. It's just a question of if he's going to get those consistent games in his natural position. But I think he will under Ancelotti.
Well, you would have said the same about Gylfi Sigurdsson, but he was playing Sigurdsson in centre mid, wasn't he? And if he's forcing James to play that kind of role, then it's a recipe for disaster. But if he gets him playing, up further up the pitch behind the striker, then it could be really, really good for them.
Moving into the game, how do you see our chances going into it? Are you expecting a win?
Yeah, I think we're unbeaten against Everton, as I said, since 2012. It's been a long time. I think Everton, their form at the back end of last season wasn't great. They lost to Bournemouth on the final day of the season. They really had a really poor end to the season.
They've had one win in their last 5.
Yeah, so that goes to show what kind of form they're in. I think they're obviously new signings could give them a lift. I just think. Obviously, you've got Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin, who really had 2 very good seasons, and they're always going to be a threat. But if we get our defence right, we can. If we stop them from playing, I think their defence is definitely gettable. They're definitely poor at the back. I think Michael Keane's been pretty poor for them ever since he's joined, and I think there will be chances for us. I really believe that. So I think I can see this being a tight game. I can see this being a bit of a chess match.
You think it's a bit similar to the last match we played against them, to the back end? Be no fans again. I think it'll be a bit of a cagey game. Mourinho versus Ancelotti is always going to be a bit of a chess match, isn't it? Yeah,
that's what I feel. I feel like it's going to be a close game, maybe like a 1-0 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't see too many goals in this game. But I think Everton are going to see this game where they'll probably be happy with a point. I think a draw will probably be a good result for them. So I can't see them being too expansive in their play. But obviously you've got to worry about their attacking players. They've got some good players going forward.
Richarlison's great.
Yeah, exactly. But I think with Højbjerg coming in, if he can give us some more control midfield, and it looks like the Celso might miss out, but if it's Winks or Ndombele, I think we should have some more control in midfield.
And also talking about their attacking options, I like to say that Ancelotti, he's completely transformed Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I think he's turned into a proper player since Ancelotti's joined. It seems like Ancelotti has seemed to have transformed him, because before that you would say he's an below average Premier League striker. Now you would say he's a good Premier League striker. Yeah,
and I wouldn't even be surprised if he's pushing 20 league goals this season, because he got 13 last season. It was really like a breakthrough. Right? He's English, yeah. He shouldn't be too far from the England squad, in my opinion, as well. And he's a tall striker. I actually wouldn't mind him at Spurs, to be honest.
How do you think he stacks up against Danny Ings?
I think fairly favourably. He's younger. I think he's more physical. I think Ings is definitely a better finisher, but I think Calvert-Lewin is more of a physical presence up front. I think Ings probably has the shades over him at the moment, but I wouldn't be surprised if this season Calvert-Lewin overtakes him. So I think he's a good striker, Calvert-Lewin. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's still young as well, 22, maybe 23. So he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. And him and Richarlison are two, physical threats up there, with pacey, with good technique. So I think they definitely want to watch out for Dyer and Alderweireld and Sanchez, whoever we play at centre back, is going to really have to be on their game to stop them. But I think it's also going to be a bit of a midfield battle.
Yeah, it will be. Do Everton have any suspensions or injuries to worry about?
Oh, I know Mason Holgate, who they have a lot of hope for. He's out, a big doubt. I'm not sure if he's confirmed out, but he's a big doubt. Andre Gomez, I think, is injured. Fabian Delph's confirmed injured. So they've got a few injuries in midfield there. But we're obviously, with the signings of Decore and Allen, it should placate that. So I think we're playing them at a fairly good time, because it's going to be their debuts for the midfielders. So maybe they haven't had the required time to bed in. Whereas you get the sense with Højbjerg, he fits right in the team. He just slots in. He knows his job.
Similar to Doherty as well.
Yeah. So I think that should be all right. I think we're probably facing Everton at a decent time. Maybe with a few more games bedded into their team, they might be more of a threat. But I think maybe we could be facing them a good time here.
I agree. What score prediction are you going for?
I'm going to go for 2-0 to Spurs.
2-0?
2-0.
I thought you were going to go 1-0.
I was thinking 1-0. I think we maybe get a second goal. Hopefully, I have a feeling with Højbjerg on the side now, we might start to have a bit more possession instead of just sitting back and counter-attacking. That's what I'm hoping for. And maybe would see Harry Kane getting the season up and running early.
I just really hope we come firing out the blocks from the get-go, because I feel like the longer this game goes on 0-0, the more of a danger Everton are.
Yeah.
And I think that if we can get that first goal, I think we could potentially win this game quite comfortably. But if we don't, then I think it will be very nervy, like you say. So I'm really hoping, those first couple of pre-season games where we just came out looking for blood those first few minutes, and I just hope it's like that, because if it's not like that, then I can see it being 1-0 or something like that, like a really dull game. But having said that, I think I'm going to go 2-0 as well. I think that's probably the most likely scoreline, and it's probably the most likely scoreline with the William Hill odds as well, because William Hill pre-match odds are 88 to 100 for Tottenham to win, and then 16 to 5 for Everton to win.
It's on big favourites.
Yeah, big favourites. So you probably get a bit of value on Everton, to be fair.
Yeah, because it's not too beyond the realms of possibility of Everton getting a result, considering if their signings do hit the ground running, then they got a good chance. But I just feel like a bit like the Leicester game in a way. Like if we can just stifle their attacking threat, there's going to be chances.
Yeah, I agree. Well, anyway, that is your match preview. Let me know your score predictions in the comment section below. I cannot wait. First game of the season. Let's do this. Come and watch our preview show tomorrow, where we will be giving you our predicted lineup. And as always, come on, you Spurs.